Tonight on the update, President laments over Ghana's cyber insecurity. Let's consider politics for national development, according to Vice President Bawumia. Shraj thrown out over Freddie Blay. Don't betray your country, Rollins advises minors. Ministry introduces Gary Jollof into school feeding menu. NPP loyal ladies hold maiden conference in Western North region. 10 students of KTI detained for protesting against head teacher. And MPP to hold presidential and parliamentary primaries in April 2020. Good evening and thank you for joining us on the evening bulletin of the update. My name is Berrim and we're coming to you live from our studios in Accra, Ghana. Please stay with us for the news. And now, President Nana Addo has called for a concerted effort to protect Ghana's cyber architecture, saying the West African nation is not immune to cyber attacks as being witnessed across the world. The president made the observation in a speech read on his behalf by Minister of Interior Bruce Derry at the closing ceremony of the 2019 Cybersecurity Month in Accra. The president made references to recent cyber attacks in the city of Baltimore in the United States of America, Bulgaria in Europe, and Johannesburg in South Africa, and observed that the devastations caused to businesses and citizens due to the attacks. He called for key measures already put in place by his administration to be sustained, saying all these measures are necessary because according to the World Economic Forum, economic loss due to cybercrime is predicted to reach $3 trillion by 2020, and 74% of the world's businesses can be expected to be hacked in the coming year. He added that right here on the African continent, residents in Johannesburg, the largest city in South Africa, were left in dark for hours after the city's power company got attacked by a ransom virus which prevented prepaid customers from buying electricity units, uploading invoices when making payments, or accessing the city's official power website. These attacks, according to him, have serious implications on national security as development of the ICT in the world's digital-driven economies has created problems that intrinsically relate to national security. Minister of Communications Esther Owusu-Ekufo called for the scaling up of cybersecurity awareness and investment in Ghana. The move, she said, is critical to protecting the country's cyber architecture and citizens. Also, the Vice President Dr Mahamudu Bawumia has called on Ghanaians to grow beyond politics of petty differences and consider it only as a tool for national development. He said in an era where development remained the main goal, the nation must not allow divisive politics to blur efforts towards addressing its many social-economic challenges. Dr. Bawumia said this when he graced a fundraising Durbar to climax the Clife Yam Festival celebrations of the people of Clife in the whole municipality. The Vice President called on the nation to support President Akufo-Addo, whom he said remained committed to developing a political atmosphere that fostered unity and development and shunned politicians who thrive by preying on tribal and regional sentiments. The Vice President averred that the nation must seek strength in its diversity by erasing differences and trade respect with one another, and called on parents to teach the young generation that in diversity there is beauty and there is strength. Meanwhile, an Accra High Court has dismissed an application for contempt brought against the chairman of the ruling New Patriotic Party (NPP), who doubles as the board chairman of the Ghana National Petroleum Corporation (GNPC), Freddie Blay, by the Commission on Human Rights and Administrative Justice (CHRAJ). According to the court presided over by Justice George Kumasi, CHRAJ failed to prove beyond reasonable doubt that Mr. Blay had ignored or refused to respond to its letters and subpoenas. CHRAJ had filed a motion at the court to commit Mr. Blay for contempt after they claimed he failed to respond to several requests from the commission to provide it with information about the 257 buses he donated to his party's constituencies ahead of the NPP's delegate conference in July 2018. The attached document alleging that the NPP chairman had received the motion but failed, refused, and/or neglected to oblige to the commission with his comments as requested, and subsequently asked the court to hold Mr. Blay in contempt. Mr. Blay, through his lawyers led by Nana Addo vehemently, denied the allegations by Straj, saying he was never served with any of the said proceedings. Justice Kumasi, in his judgment, stated that Mr. Blay was being investigated not as chairman of the NPP but a public officer, and wondered why officers of the commission would direct the processes to the office of the NPP and Daily Guide and not GNPC. He described the conduct of Straj as incompetent and appalling, saying such conduct should not be countenanced on the part of public officers. He dismissed the application for contempt and acquitted and discharged Mr. Blay. A cost of 5,000 Ghana cedis was awarded against Straj. Former President Flight Lieutenant Jerry John Rawlings has cautioned local miners against siding with expatriates to flee the country in order to satisfy the greed of foreign powers. He warned miners against the dark side of extractive industry, which he said involved machinations of silencing high-profile personalities who tend to oppose and expose the greed agenda of foreign powers. Mr. Rawlings gave the caution at a Platinum Award ceremony on the 75th anniversary of the Mine Workers Union of Ghana held in Accra last Friday.
Your union, with a current membership of 13,000, has been the bulwark behind the success story of Ghana's mining industry. I do recall with some nostalgia the numerous interactions we had with your union. Source of Ghana's challenges is an absolute dearth of noble sentiment. Our patriotic sense of responsibility is lost, and until the average Ghanaian recognizes the need to show responsibility first to himself.
He was honored for his contribution to initiate and implement aggressive policies to stimulate investment into the minerals economy in Ghana. The former president also mentioned weak institutions, lack of commitment on the part of government due to shallow political expediency, and the dearth of noble sentiment among Ghanaians as factors that have compounded the situation. The General Secretary of the Trade Union Congress (TUC), Dr. Yalban, encouraged workers to use the occasion to reflect on how to stay relevant in the sector that is fast changing over the decades with the introduction of technology. The Deputy Minister of Employment and Labour Relations, Bright Rekubrobe, for his part, assured workers of the ministry's commitment to address issues of fixed-term employment within the sector. Continuing, Minister of Gender, Children and Social Protection Cynthia Mamle Morrison has said Gari Jollof has been introduced as a new on the menu into the school feeding program. She said the invention of Gari Jollof, which food nutritionists have recommended as good, would enhance the sustainability of the program. Mrs. Morrison made this known when she addressed caterers from 11 schools at Agona Bobikuma and Agona Kwamang in the Agona West constituency of the Central Region at a training workshop to update their knowledge on the preparation of a new menu. The workshop was on the theme, Promotion of Gari into a Main Meal. Mrs. Morrison asked the caterers to fortify their meals by using locally available ingredients such as vegetables, carrots, cabbage, spring onions, legumes, beans, cowpeas, and eggs, adding this combination makes it highly nutritional. The minister said the introduction of the Gari Jollof would ginger cassava farmers to increase production and improve food security. National Coordinator for the Ghana School Feeding Program, Gertrude Kwashiga, said she was hopeful that caterers would take the skills acquired at the workshop to enable them cook decent and delicious foods to feed the children in order to sustain the government social intervention program. And now on to some politics. The new Patriotic Party, NPP's Loyal Ladies, a female group that believes in the ideals of the party, has held its regional conference at Sefriwiaso to officially launch the Western North chapter. The conference brought together all members from the 9 constituencies and the TESCON members to share ideas and map out strategies on how to work as a team to ensure victory for the party in the next elections. Addressing the group, Nana Addo, managing director of the State Housing Company and co-founder of the Loyal Ladies Group, commended the group for their role in the party's electoral victory in 2016 and urged them to work extra hard to ensure a resounding victory for the party in 2020. Western North Regional Captain of the Ladies, Nana Addo, assured that she and her group would intensify their campaign activities by adopting a house-to-house approach to explain to the citizenry the good policies of the current government. And now 10 students of the Kumasi Technical Institute (KTI) were arrested and detained over violent disorder that broke out during a protest at the school's campus on Sunday night. The students were protesting on their assistance to wear prescribed uniform for prep by a housemaster after refusing to do so, thereby running amok in the process. Menshia Divisional Police Commander ACP Kwekubua, who confirmed the arrest, so the students are being held over criminal charges due to damage caused to the school's property and the cars of private individuals. The damage is quite extensive. They vandalized glass doors and windows from dormitory through to the department to the housemaster's bungalow and even to the farms of the school. They destroyed a lot of things, people's cars, air conditioners, louver blades were all vandalized, he disclosed. According to him, the housemaster was also injured on the head during the protest. According to reports, the police managed to apprehend 10 of the rampaging students who were all said to have played lead roles in the attacks. According to the Menshia Divisional Police Commander, the housemaster, who sustained head injuries, was issued a medical form for treatment, adding that the police were still investigating the case. Rounding up onto some more politics, the new Patriotic Party (NPP) has set April 25, 2020 as the date to hold its presidential and parliamentary primaries. The primaries will be held in all 169 constituencies, where the party has sitting MPs to elect its parliamentary candidate as well as flag bearer for the 2020 general elections. The NPP made this known in a statement signed by its General Secretary, John Boydo, after a National Council meeting, the second highest decision-making body of the party after a conference. It's added that the National Executive Committee of the party will at appropriate time come out with detailed guidelines and modalities for the conduct of these primaries. The party will also hold parliamentary primaries for the remaining orphan constituencies, where they were excluded from the party's nationwide primaries held on September 28, 2019 due to some outstanding matters which have now been resolved, it noted.
Yeah, take a decision say April 25th, no, 2020, and you be to aba, and I say you be acclamation. A presidential candidate, depending on say nipa baakwa, at the National Congress, to media, Now, you take it 25th, who say any baby parliamentary no Asia, and see, San upon Asia, whether you're orphan and I say certain members of parliament constituency in Asia. First half, no, you say nipa baakwa, you the acclamation. It's
added that the primaries for these outstanding constituencies will be held on Saturday, October 26, 2019. That will be all for today's update. Join us again tomorrow at 12:30 and 6:30 p.m. for more. My name is Barry, and the update is brought to you by Diamond Cement and powered by Press Express. You can keep updated on happenings on our website at dailyguidenetwork.com. Enjoy.